And before this rework, did you feel there was there's a divide between the balance team and the testing team in terms of like them providing feedback and the balance team maybe not listening to them, or not necessarily like listening to them, but wanting to act on those changes because of their personal opinions?
Um, I would say there was an inherent uh, miscommunication based solely on how the server was structured. So for anyone who was not in it, uh, we had those two teams separate, yes, and I think that that generally led to a lot of confusion. Um, I think I don't think it was personal bias. I would wager to say that a lot of the decisions that were made were based solely on the individual's expertise. Um, but if that were the case, I think that would just be a miscommunication. We did not foster a very effective uh, communication chain. It was very much everyone was in their own compartmentalized teams. So with the new layout of the dev server, all conversation is centralized. Everyone knows what everyone else is doing at the same time. There's no division or anything like that. I think that's the positive takeaway from the restructuring.
All right. And going into the future for this testing and balancing team, what's the general vision of this team within like the next year or so? Like, what do you expect for them to do, and do they have any new roles?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it because I will reiterate this. I think with the new testing team, that role is now more significant than it has ever been in the community because they will have the responsibility of interacting with the community very directly in a public setting where they will be asking for feedback. They will be asking the community to do specific things, whether it's like testing a new turret or a new ship. They will have all of the internal tools in the public testing server at their disposal to lead and foster a better bond between player and developer. It in many ways they will be the glue between the dev team and the community. So I think that really speaks to just the significance of the role moving forward. And my hope within the next year is that it yields just a net positive of feedback and results that will further enhance the game in a way that we couldn't really before. I feel like before there was just a detachment between the testing team and the actual community. So hopefully, with everyone being more involved, it'll just make the game fantastic. I'm extremely optimistic about it. I think it's worth the effort thus far.
All right. And do you have any other comments or anything about if this the like people are calling it the purge, but I think that's a little bit uh excessive. This cutting of the team, do you think it could have gone smoother than before, or smoother than how it played out?
I think it went. Yeah, it's hindsight. Hindsight is 2020, right? Um, there's a lot of things I wish that we could have done better, and by that I mean, I wish we didn't have to cut anyone at all, but um, it was essential, and we had to weigh the options. But that being said, and this is kind of me addressing anyone who might be disconcerted or like wary, even the people who are still in the dev team who are a bit wary of their position, they have no need to be wary. And for the people who did get cut, um, it's not personal. This is not a ban. This is not a permanent severance of the working relationship between us and them. In fact, people who have reached out to me, I've said if there are any other skills that you want to contribute, totally do so. We're not cutting them off. Um, I would additionally like to point out that one of the things that we are doing to further incentivize a working relationship is we're going to add permanent credits to the game. for anyone who was involved in the development process. So testers, balancing team, asset team, everyone's going to get permanent credit to their name, even if they were cut or not. I think it's important to recognize the contribution of time because time is a very valuable commodity. So we're going to do everything we can to talk to these people who are most affected and see what we can do for them down the line, whether it's getting more involved in things like community moderation or just contributing other skills that we didn't even know that they had. A prime example would be individuals who have come to me expressing interest in joining the lore team. I'm always looking for budding writers to participate in these kinds of things. So I'd say to them, keep an eye out for future applications that might be made public.
All right, and I'm finished with my questions. Do you have any other thoughts? Anything you want to add on for other people to hear, or anything?
No, I think that is a good summary of my stance. Again, I appreciate everything that they did for the dev team, and I will make sure that it is not gone unseen. It's definitely worth acknowledging, and I think ultimately we should all be very excited about the positive implications of this new direction that we're taking. I think Starscape is going to really accelerate, not just in terms of productivity, but getting updates to the public. We want to make sure that that is our utmost priority and that we can deliver those on a monthly basis, uh, as Keth has iterated before. So I think this will help us do that, truly.
All right, and are you okay if we are able to publish this conversation?
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
journalism, isn't it? Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead. Okay. I
all right,
assumed I assumed my face was being recorded from the moment we started. No, don't worry about that. Um, I'm totally fine with that. I'm perfectly willing to correspond with the community. Anyone who has questions, totally fine. I think this was, yeah, I think this was useful, especially for anyone who might have any looming hesitations. Yeah, don't worry. I think it's perfectly fine.
all right. Well, that concludes this interview. So I guess thank you for spending your time with us.
Of
And
course.
yeah,
Anytime you guys have questions, hit me up.
all right, no problem. Once again, thank you for coming out and responding. I guess because the community was a little bit cut off for a while there.
Yeah, well, you know what? On that note, let's make sure that going forward, there is no separation there. Let's make sure that everyone is connected again. I think that is the best path forward, and I'm really excited about the future.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, and have a great day yourself. Cheers.
Bye.